Welcome to this adventure of Wasil Science in the series Human Anatomy and Physiology. On this adventure, we're going to talk all about tissues and what those do for the body. Let's do it. Let's go. So the first thing we need to do is talk about what tissues are. We're not talking about things you blow your nose with, but we're talking about similar cells that have a common function. And the study of tissues is called histology. Yeah, it's amazing. It's understanding how God created the body to work. There's four main types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous tissue, and they all have a specific role to play in the body. Today, we're talking specifically about epithelial tissue. Before we jump into epithelial tissue, let's talk about intercellular junctions first. This is where cells come together. The first type of intercellular junction is found in the linings of the body, and these are tight junctions. These are areas where it's very close space between cells. Second type of intercellular junction that we're going to talk about are called desmosomes. And these are kind of like the spot welds. And these form the outer skin. So these are like spot welds within the cells that allow the skin to function the way that it does. And the last are called gap junctions. And these are tubular channels of cells. And these are actually located there in the cardiac muscle tissue. Just incredible how God designed the body to work. The first type of epithelial cells that we're talking about are called simple squamous cells, and we see them throughout the body. They're single layer of flat cells, and they allow stuff to pass through them really easily. We find them in blood vessels, air sacs of the lungs, and even the lymphatic vessels. Again, they allow the passage of substances back and forth. Super important within our body. The next type of epithelial cells we're going to talk about line ovaries and kidney tubules. These are called cuboidal, simple cuboidal cells. And that term cuboidal basically means their shape, that they're cube-shaped. And they're super important because they also line the ducts of some glands. The third type of simple epithelial cell that we're going to talk about are the simple columnar cells. And yeah, they're found there on your stomach, as part of your stomach. Their membrane is at the same level, and sometimes they have cilia, allowing substances to move past. How amazing is that? Whenever you see simple epithelial cells, it just means one layer. So simple means single layer of cells. sometimes cells of the epithelial tissue aren't just single flat layers, but sometimes they're layered on top of each other, kind of like this wall behind me. The first type we're going to look at are called the stratified squamous cells. Stratified, think of strata. Think of rock layers piled on top of each other. Where do we find stratified squamous cells? We find them right here in your mouth. Those allow the outer layer of skin along with your oral cavity, and they can sometimes even accumulate keratin, which is hair. Again, stratified just means layered on top of each other, like strata. Well, we also have what's called stratified cuboidal cells, and those line your saliva glands along with the outer portion of our sweat glands. How amazing is that? Our sweat glands need cuboidal, stratified tissue, that type of epithelial cell. The pharynx is where we find the stratified columnar cells. And they're super important because they're going to be these cube-shaped cells that form deeper layers within our body. Again, God is so incredible. Even within epithelial cells, there's all this variation designed by God. Whoa, we just barely scratched the surface of the epithelial cells. Get it? Surface, epithelial, haha, little science joke. Well, thanks for joining us on this adventure into the world of human anatomy and physiology, and ultimately looking at God's incredible creative works here in our bodies. Join us next time as we continue to elevate the name of the Lord above everything. Again, looking at His amazing creation. We'll see you guys then. Bye.